I'm sorry. This is Play PSVR2, the podcast. I'm just perusing what you youngins may or may not know. This is a newspaper because this episode is all about the news. That's right. We've got PSVR news coming out of our nips like a pregnant woman. I have the one and the only Alex, my co host. Alex, you love news. You love game announcements. This seems like this is your time to shine, man.
You missed the important one there, Adam. I also love pregnant women. Not that way, Adam. Not that. It's just I just love life. People have a new life. You're putting on a new month. This is business, Adam. I like this. Yeah.
This is business because here's the thing, Alex. You never know what first impression you're making. There is, for example, new games that come out, and there's people who made those games, toy trains, and I want a good first impression. I want to look good because you never know if the ladies are watching. And
You know
so
what your
that
first you know what your first impression is, Adam? You walk up to that toy train's COO and you walk up to her and you say,
I'm a chugger. That's right. Hey, Miss Coo, I'm a chugger. I'm a chugger. I'm a chugger.
I wasn't expecting you to direct a drop there. Yeah.
Well, oh yeah, that's the way it goes. You never know what's going to happen, folks. I'm going more casual with my performance tonight. I may look all business, but I'm changing it up. New house, new life. I'm gonna go casual. I'm gonna sit in a chair. I'm not gonna have the computers. It's gonna be me and my organic blends, warm vanilla organic tea. Konnichiwa, Alex.
Oh, yeah,
And
you said it right. Yeah.
I mean, how do you say it wrong?
You've said it wrong many times before.
Bull crap. Here's the thing, Alex. So right off the bat, this is a mini airing of grievance, and it's to you. Folks, you don't know this, but at last episode, after we talked about the coup, we ended the podcast, and there was a little conversation between me and Alex before we hung up the call. And he was like, Adam, I really didn't anticipate you to go for the European types. Alex thinks I only go for the big breasted American women. That is insulting. You should be ashamed of yourself. What do you have to say for yourself right now that I'm putting you on blast on live national airways? What do you got to say, huh?
Just whenever I see women of any type, I think to myself,
I like it. I like it. that was a good drop. That was one of your better efforts there. Okay, so I again have the nice warm tea because obviously winter, and it's not great. I can barely taste the vanilla. Hopefully you have something better, Alex. I'm sure it's alcoholic.
it's not alcoholic. I don't know who you think you are. This is Dr. D's. This must have been named after me.
Doctor, put the D's in that mouth. Put the D's. Chug the D. You're gonna chug the D.
Organic Dr. D's sparkling probiotic drink, pineapple, delicious gut support. We talked about the probiotics. I'm coming after you, Jamie Lee Curtis. You go see me on TV talk about some pineapple butt drink is what this is about to be. It's got a picture of the two people on it. This is Stuart and Susan have made this pineapple poop drink for me for my gut health. I don't have gut problems, but it could always get better, I'm sure.
Is Jamie Lee Curtis involved in some way?
No, she does we talked about it last time, Adam. She's the spokesperson for the butt yogurt that gets sold.
The yogurt, not the drink.
Okay. I'm going to be the spokesperson for butt drinks that get sold. Let's have a sip. Oh, taste. Okay.
I'm gonna go back to this. Okay, you're like European women. I'm surprised you like them. I've only seen you date one nationality, Alex, and you're coming back at me about
let's be clear. Adam's only ever seen me date one person, and that's my wife. So,
but you were dating at the time.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
So I've only seen you date one person, and it was that nationality. I'm just saying.
Canadian, for the record. Yeah.
I don't think you have any room to talk. Okay. But I don't want you to shut up because we've got news and we've got tons of it. But before we do that, of course, we got fan shout outs. I love J Brat because last episode, if you remember, I talked Vertigo 2. I had an awesome opening line, and he said, OMG, that opening line. If you remember, Alex, it was the, oh, you got Vertigo. I've got Vertigo too. I mean, classic. That's an all timer right there, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was also undercut by the fact that you had there's something about Mary hair malfunction going on at the same time. It was perfect. It was nice, Adam. You had
I
that
don't
tuft
know
of
what
hair.
that means.
You don't
Something
have to
about
know what it means. Yeah, it's
something
okay. It's
about
okay.
Mary.
It's a
Whatever.
cultural reference. I guess I'm too old for this podcast. Adam, that was a good opening line. It was clever. For those that don't know, I have no idea what Adam's going to come out of the gate with. I got to be ready to clean this stuff up and bring us back and focus because Adam might drop something horrible on us. He might start telling us about
The ball gets in the hole. I'm unable to.
something like that. And I got to make sure we're ready to keep this thing PG so we don't get demonetized.
Here,
The other one here we got.
I'm gonna go PG on. I actually want to do this one. J Devil tells us to first of all, do you guys not? I'm not getting a quest. I'm not doing it. But he tells us go get a quest used for like 150 bucks. Use it on PC. I can't and I won't because I'm using PC to play Pal World. Here's the thing. Pal World has rocked me. The last time I got rocked this hard was Final Fantasy 16. I love the game. I wanted to play it on my Steam Deck. It doesn't work really well. So I actually, for the first time ever in my life, am using a computer to play this game. I'm using the DualSense controller, just hooking it in. Alex, you don't have time, but this game, I love it. It is it's going to be the game that's going to get me through to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It, I mean, other than VR games that obviously rock you, right? Like Synapse, it's a good game, man. It is a
Is
good game. It is fun. So that's what I'm
my
using my PC for, J Devil. I'm not freaking buying a Quest. I'm not doing it.
is do I have to have any interest in Pokemon? Because I have zero interest in Pokemon to enjoy Pal World.
No, I think a lot of the people who like it know of Pokemon, and it's what Pokemon, in my opinion, should have been all along, or at least for the past 15 years, and they
Pokemon with
don't do it.
guns.
No, there's like guns, but like first of all, it's kind of a survival game. So you have to eat, you have to cook, there's raids that are coming through. You can build your base, you can have multiple bases. You're almost like Team Rocket, where you go out here, you capture these Pokemon, and then you enslave them. But it's awesome. And you can like punch them mercilessly to death and then catch them. You can just kill them. Then there's different bosses you can go and fight in exploration. And I mean, at some point it will get old, right? I probably played 10 hours. I'm not sick of it. So
Is it free?
no, it's
Okay.
$27, I think,
Adam will
on
pay
Steam.
$27 for an early access tower defense Pokemon knockoff, but I had to. It's like pulling teeth to get him to play Synapse.
Dude, this I mean, more people, what did they say? 10 million people in like the first seven
Oh yeah,
days
no,
or
it's
something.
a hot selling item for
And
sure. Yeah.
because of the what people were saying in the videos I saw on Twitter, I was like, I gotta try it. Also gives me something to do at work when I'm sick of listening to people talk and being useless meetings.
So
Alex,
I want to comment on J Double's thing here. There, this is a me thing. I get it, but the last thing I ever want to purchase used. I don't buy used stuff too often when it comes to video games because I like opening it. I like having full ownership of it, making sure it's not messed up. Maybe the last video game thing I'd ever want to purchase is a VR headset that's been on God knows whose face,
I
been
mean, you could
handled.
clean it, use disinfecting sprays, dog.
There's some things you can't clean, especially a Quest that somebody
Wait, oh, I can't believe I just blanked. Oh no. Little Star. Is that on
little star.
Quest?
I mean, if you're using your Quest and connecting to PC, you have the whole virtual realm
Oh
at your disposal.
wowzers! Oh
Yeah,
wowzers! There's
not
things
saying
there's things that Quest can't unsee either. I mean,
gets burned into the lenses. Yeah,
wowzers! Yeah. Okay, Alex, read the last fan shout out there.
yeah. Thanks for making me read the last one. You took a screenshot of it. It's like barely legible here. our
It's a
buddy,
good one.
our buddy Destity, if I'm saying that right, hopefully
Destitty. I don't know how you say it.
Destity. Yes, F the cord. Can't tell you how many times I get caught up in it and it pulls the effing headset down. When I'm using a chair, it wraps around the base and pulls the headset down.
I
Ugh.
wanted you to read it because we are on the same page, and I just spilt my tea all over myself. But that is the issue. You don't get it. Everything to you is rosy and red. No, the cord sucks. It's
I've had
awful.
zero issues with the cord. Zero.
Well, good for you. And seriously, I mean that. I don't understand why, but good for you. I wish I didn't. It's awful. And
It might
and
be that I intentionally don't move around too much when I play PSVR because I'm out of shape and also my play space isn't. I got kids' toys everywhere. I could be running it. I could throw myself down the stairs. I can't do that, Adam. Thank you, Destiny, for commenting, but unfortunately, you're wrong. The cord is. Here's the thing about the cord. I'm going to say it again. Anybody who's used a wireless headset has to struggle with the weight of the headset. And you also lose the graphical fidelity. PSVR2 is a premium headset. We're coming to it for the premium games like Resident Evil 4, where it's absolutely beautiful. Now, of course, the technology is getting there. Wi-Fi 6 is coming out. They're already talking about Wi-Fi 7. And streaming directly from a console to your headset is going to get you that visual fidelity. But the battery pack is a huge pain in the butt. And Adam, you already have comfort issues when it comes to your headset. Imagine adding an extra pound or two on top of that thing just to get the resolution or to get the battery life out of it. It's a huge pain in the butt, and we're seeing people underrate how much battery life affects your VR enjoyment. Look at the Apple headset about to come out. That thing has got like a 1.5 hour battery life. That's ridiculous. What can you do in 1.5 hours that they're expecting you to use for these things? So I for one, I can get by with a cord. It doesn't bother me that much. You can
we've
get cord
already had this.
extensions.
Let's move to the news. You're just rehashing stuff. I'm not buying it.
Okay,
Okay.
let me take the news for you here, Adam. Adam, I always talk about news with you, and you're always like, "Who cares? Nobody wants to hear that." So I think that's perfect idea for a new segment we'll do here. This new segment is it's gonna be like our sales segment, Adam. You got to tell us, do you care or do you not care? So this segment is, do you care? And you got to tell me yes or no. So come out of the gate. This one right here, big news. Do you care? The Rec Room developer said that Rec Room is officially not monetarily viable for the PSVR 2, so it's never coming to PSVR 2. Adam, do you care?
I care for a different reason. I don't care that we aren't getting Rec Room. I do care that they feel as though it's not financially viable. That scares me a little bit because what if there are other games where people are like, it's not worth it. It takes more to develop. There's not many users. So I do care, but not because of Rec Room.
So the reason I don't care is because Rec Room is not a premium game. It's not even that fun of a game. I like PSVR 2 having this kind of status of like, I know we're not seeing the releases that bolster that too much, but we do have things like Gran Turismo 7, Resident Evil 4, these high profile games that really leverage the quality of PSVR 2. Rec Room is like a mobile game in VR. It's designed so that you spend money on microtransactions for cosmetics. It's also a playground for the screeching children that just make things awful. I had fun in Rec Room, but the game's janky. It's more broken than it is. I guess that's unfair. It's pretty broken and janky and messed up and weird. It's not a big loss, I don't think. Sony's not catering to the children market, right? That's why the Quest goes nuts. Every kid buys it for Gorilla Tag and Roblox. I don't want that to be the focus of the PSVR 2 ecosystem. So if Rec Room doesn't find it viable because they can't market to a million kids who are going to steal their dad's credit cards and buy 100 shirts on Rec Room, that's fine with me because I don't need that content on my headset.
He already has 100 shirts.
I already have 100 shirts. Next, Adam, Bulletstorm VR was released. Then it got unreleased because apparently some patches weren't available. They said it was an unreleased version. But the big thing is Bulletstorm was released and it got horribly panned. Now, Digital Foundry did a great breakdown. They said, PC VR is okay. No, it wasn't Digital Foundry. It's Gamertag VR, our buddy big time in us. We launched his career, by the way. Gamertag VR. He played the PC version, said that was okay. PSVR 2 version was average, and the Quest version was broken. All the reviews I'm seeing are just of the Quest version, and the Quest version is apparently severely handicapped. Like some of the features only work in one eye. Everything is just very bland and gross and bad. I haven't played the PSVR 2 version. I don't want to pay $40 for this game when apparently it's still got some broken stuff in it. There is one good sign, though. The devs that ported this are the same devs that ported Green Hell VR, and Green Hell VR has seen a substantial amount of updates, and apparently it's quote-unquote good now if you're looking for that kind of game. But Adam, do you care for Bulletstorm VR, a port of a PlayStation 3 era boomer shooter?
My issue is that if they're trying to put it on, and I know a lot of people do this, but they're putting it on PC, Quest, and PSVR2. No thanks. Right there, I'm writing it off. I want games that focus on the headset individually. Admittedly, the Quest has things that PSVR2 doesn't have. It should be developed specifically for its strengths. The same thing for PSVR2. When they're just slapping and porting these things over, they're not doing that. That's a game I don't want to play because kind of like the reviews you mentioned, it's going to be average. It's not going to be great. It's not going to be Resident Evil. It's not going to be Before Your Eyes. It's not going to be any of these games that were made for the PSVR 2. I don't want it. We have better stuff to play.
All right, you don't care. All right, I kind of don't care. Ultra Wings 2 was released a little bit early. Apparently, they didn't put the day one patch in. So, but the impressions are really good. Everybody seems to be having a good time with it. I think there's just some kind of late game glitches that are happening. But a patch will come later. It's only $20. So I loved Ultra Wings. I don't know if you ever played it, Adam. Do you care that Ultra Wings 2 came out?
No, I'm going to be honest. I do not. And I don't
Did you
know what you could do to convince me to care.
did you play the original?
I'm trying to remember. I feel, oh gosh, there was a flying game I played, but I don't
You're
remember if
thinking
it
of
was Ultra
Pirate
Wings.
Flight.
Okay,
Pirate
then
Flight.
I
Yeah,
don't
no,
think I have played it. But
this
I
is like
played. Here's the thing: I played that one frigging game that you all but you know gave a happy ending to, and I hated it. It was awful.
Ace Combat.
Yeah, horrible. So if I don't like that, how am I gonna like Ultra Wings?
Well, Ace Combat's like an arcade flight game. Ultra Wings is like it's a pretty realistic shooter. The graphics aren't like anything world ending, but it's a pretty shooter. It's a pretty realistic flight sim game. And you start off with like an ultralight glider, and then you move on to like jet planes and stuff. I loved the first game, and I'm looking forward to playing the second game. Have it downloaded, but I got to record a podcast with you tonight, Adam. That's why I'm not playing it right now. It does have multiplayer dogfighting. Does that rope you in?
Um, I mean that's a really nice feature. I don't know if it's enough that would make me pay $20 for it, but
It's
it is
only
for
20. Okay. All right.
I just spent $27 on Power World. Dang it. Next.
And a suit from Goodwill. Dead Hook came out.
This is from Express, you butthole.
Dead Hook. And they announced the release date, February 8th for PSVR 2. These are the people who made the game Stride, which I don't think you played, Adam. I played it on PSVR 1. It's that free running game. Worked
Yep.
really well despite the issues PSVR 1 had with controls. This game looks a lot like Doom VFR. And the thing is, it did come out on Quest. The impressions are positive on Quest, but it came out a while ago on Quest. And they said they've been spending this time getting it optimized for PSVR 2 and PCVR. So this isn't the situation you're talking about, Adam, where they launch it at all three. It's a hampered version. It looks to be a good version. Adam, noting you watched the trailer, you said it looked like Doom VFR. Do you care?
Suit from Goodwill. That's good. That was good. I'm still reeling from that a little bit. I do care because one thing the PSVR 2 is missing is that Doom VFR. And by that, I mean a super fast, dynamic gameplay type shooter that is quick, that you can do one run through in 2 hours and finish the game if you know what you're doing. But it's just fun. You blow stuff up. This seems like that could fit that niche. Hopefully, it's not super long. Like Resident Evil 4 would fill that if it weren't so long, but it's just too long. This, you're cutting people in half, you're shooting guns, you're jumping around. It looks like a Doom VFR, which I'm thrilled. If that's the game I wish they would port. But yeah, I know I care about this. I would pay up to $30 for this from what I know today.
I love your price estimates. It'll be $34, and you'll say no. Apparently, so speaking to what you want, this is a relatively shorter game. It's got a bunch of different, like 22 levels or something, but it's a roguelike, kind of like Synapse, where it changes, you get upgrades and stuff like that. It might be right up your alley, Adam, where it's a game where you once a day go in, burn through the levels, upgrade your character, then come back and try it out the next day. I'm super excited about it. It does look a lot of fun. It's got
What day is it coming
too.
out?
February 8th.
Friggin' poser. Doesn't even mention that. Next.
D-Day Enhanced. Remember that super janky D-Day game that came out on PSVR 1? We played it a lot, Adam, and it had like 50-person multiplayer.
Yeah.
Well, there's a free upgrade for PSVR 2. It's out now. Do you care?
Can I do pending? I do care if people actually play it. I mean, it was kind of fun. It's
People are
super.
actually playing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about like kind of long haul. Next week, will people be playing it? Is it cross or only PSVR2?
That's an excellent question. I don't know. I can get back
Okay.
to you on that. We'll give you an update next episode, team, about whether D-Day Enhanced is crossplay or not. All right, Adam, next piece of information here. Bobo VR released the AP2. This is an open wearable earphone headset that attaches to your PSVR2 headset. So you don't have to stick the. I know, Adam, you hate sticking the plugs in your ears. Sometimes your over
To
ear
test
headphones
it.
suck.
Yeah.
So this is the open ear ones. It clips in and it's just like two speakers next to your ear. Now, I don't know if I've used anything like this, but I have Bobo VR's some of their accessories for my Quests, and they make a really good product. So, are you interested in this? Do you care? It's $39.99.
It's not a bad price. I think you need a headset with the VR, in my opinion. I
That's
have the
what. Well, I mean,
Pulse,
that's
so
what it. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you have to have a headset of some capacity. Yeah.
yes, correct, yes, and yeah, I know, like a music headset, but I have the Pulse. So, is this good enough for me to sell my Pulse and get? It's probably a 1-for-1 trade, right? I could probably sell the Pulse for $50, get this. It'd probably be about even, but if I'm happy with the Pulse, I don't know if I need two. I kind of I I I guess I care because we need more than one. There should be another option other than the Pulse. Why buy it? No, but for you, the consumer, it's always good to have a choice. Given the choice, I would have rather bought Bobo for $40 than pay $100 for the Pulse, 2 years ago when I bought it. So it's better for the people coming in right now. So that's why I care.
I mean, the downside of this is that you can't play it for just a normal PS5, right? You can use the Pulse if you're playing on PS5 for whatever reason. You don't have that issue. I got kids running around. I don't want them hearing the filth that I'm playing on my PS5. But yeah, I'm interested in this. Maybe we should reach out, get a review copy of these bad boys or something.
I don't know, but I feel like we need to start. We're taking a long time. We need to cruise through these. Let's go.
Okay, Operation Serpent. The people that made VR Pigeon released a stationary shooter, kind of like Time Crisis. Looks like a low budget Crossfire. It's coming out February 23rd. Imagine a game with the graphics of something like Just in Time Incorporated. A little bit better than Minecraft type stuff, but the gameplay looks pretty fun. And one thing I really like about it is they have this effect where when you throw a flashbang, it induces bullet time. So you start having bullet time. I thought that was a pretty clever gameplay mechanic. But Adam, do you care about these kind of cheap arcade experience shooter games?
I only have room in my life for one cheap arcade shooter, and I'm sorry, that's D-Day. So no, I don't care.
What about okay, Globular Cluster? They have the headset that you're using now. They released a hand grip mod. So these are like cushions you stick inside your controller so that you don't have to use the wrist straps. And instead, your hands, you can let go with your fingers and the controller will just float because it's gripping onto the palm of your hand. It's gripping onto the outside of your hand. So the controllers just stay on your hand. Do you care?
I love this company. Their first product was amazing. I just like, why do you need this? That's my problem. I feel like it will be high quality, but I don't care because when am I going to use that? I cut the wrist straps off of my controllers. Quit adding them. No one wants to use them. If you're dumb enough to accidentally throw your controller across the room and break the window, sorry. You're playing Resident Evil. Crap happens. Next.
All right, Adam, I don't know if you're going to care about this at all. Unreal Engine apparently released their new universal pipeline that incorporates the dynamic foveated rendering. So this is the issue people were having, indie developers were having, where they'd make a game, they're expecting to use dynamic foveated rendering. They can't leverage it with the Unity engine, which ends up hampering their game's graphical fidelity a lot. That's why games like Light Brigade didn't look as good as you would expect initially. Hellsweeper had issues. Green Hell VR had issues. All these games were using I said Unreal, this is Unity engine. Unity engine games, which most people use, had these issues. They've now released that universal pipeline that enables this foveated rendering that Resident Evil 4 benefits from greatly. Do you care?
Sure. If it makes the game looks better, sure. I'm not a nerd. I don't get into that crap. Just make the games good and look good. That's all I care. Next.
Beat the Beat releases later this year. Not to be confused with Box the Beat or Box to the Beat or Box VR. There's about 17 different games out now where you can box.
Here's the
Beat
thing. Well, here's
Saber.
why I don't care because you just said there are like 17. How is this different than Synth Riders? It's really not much different. There's too many games like this, and yet none of them are as fun as Beat Saber. You need to do something else, folks. I'm sorry. Give me Run Dorothy Run as a port. Get this out of here. Beat the Beats, more like beat off, loser. Next.
I watched the trailer for this. I'm actually really interested in this game.
Of course he is. Next, move
I love
on.
these boxing
I
rhythm
hate you.
games.
You have like 4 of them already.
I
Tell
know,
me
and I
about
like them.
stilts.
Stilts on PSVR2 is coming out. It's a platformer where you're like some guy that has stilts on his arms, and that's how you move around. You bounce yourself around. I think there's some grappling and swinging and stuff. It's a platformer game. Kind of kid friendly. Sorry, this pineapple juice gave me the hiccups. Replace your hands with stilts. Looks like a stupid game that might actually be fun. Adam, do you care?
Yeah, I'm the one who wrote that comment. It does look like a stupid game, but sometimes these stupid ideas are actually the ones that kind of turn out fun. Kind of like Vertigo Home, kind of like Stunt Kite Master. So yeah, I actually do care. Now, if they charge any more than $15 for this, you're out of your effing mind. But let's see. Let's see.
Okay. I thought you were going to be like pulling up the game and looking at the price. No, the game's probably really fun. It looks weird watching it on video. Like you have stilts, you think you'd be pointing down to bounce, but you're like pointing in front of you to bounce. I don't quite get it, but maybe it just looks and feels better in VR itself. That's it for my quick hits of the news, Adam. We got more news to discuss, but you put these here. I guess you want to talk more?
There's more, and we're gonna breeze through these because we're just running out of time. Alex, here's the thing: Gaming Trend had a Resident Evil 4 review. It was a glowing review. They really enjoyed the game. Here is my problem: what is wrong with you people? They gave Resident Evil 4, the flat version, a 10 out of 10. Perfectly fine. I have no issues with that. They write in their review, in their final synopsis, where what do I want to? Here we go. Resident Evil 4 was a triumph of a remake and it somehow one upped itself with VR. And they gave it a 9 out of 10. What? You just said it upped itself, which means it's better than the flat version, but you gave it a worse score? It doesn't make sense. I agree with everybody who are saying they broke immersion with the cutscenes. I agree with that. But everything else is fantastic. You can't have it both ways. It either upped itself, it's better, and it's a 10 out of 10, or no, it's not that good. It's a 9 out of 10, or, it's good, whatever. What is wrong with people? Why? How is that not a 10 out of 10? You show me a game that's 10 out of 10 if that isn't. Like, really? It must give you a hand job while you're playing. I don't get it. I hate
it would be one thing if Resident Evil 4 Remake came out like 3 or 4 years ago, but it didn't. It came out the same year that Resident Evil 4 Remake VR came out. It's the same year. So it's in the same contention for Game of the Year. I don't get it either, Adam. It's very disappointing that these people have these weird scoring scales. Maybe we shouldn't belabor the scores, but you're right. It is kind of stupid that you give a normal version of the game a 10 out of 10, and then you give a better version of that same game coming out the same year, a free upgrade of that game too, a 90 or a 9 out of 10.
I mean, my bigger issue is that, like, if you read the review, they were complimentary. They loved it. They didn't have any issues. They just constantly talked about how great it was. And then you give it a 9 out of 10? F off. That's so stupid. Okay, Alex, here's the thing. We've got the top 23 or top games that were downloaded in 2023. And this is from Sony. For the US, we've got Pavlov. We've got Beat Saber. We've got Kayak VR Mirage. We've got Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. We've got Horizon Call of the Mountain, Job Simulator, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2, Switchback VR, Swordsman VR, and Pistol Whip. Are there any surprises or anything that you were just like, interesting? Because there were a couple for me.
I think it is interesting that Kayak VR beat Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. Also, kind of surprising that Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy Edge is so high. I mean, I get the IP is interesting. People are going to play the demo and maybe play it. Pavlov is no surprise there. I'm a little bit surprised that it's number one, but I would expect to see it at number one or two.
I mean, I feel like all the games that are better they wouldn't be counted in this because they were Resident Evil, they were Gran Turismo,
free upgrades, right? Or upgrades of some capacity. Here's the one that's interesting because upgrades aren't counted in this. Job Simulator still made it in at number 6. And what's even crazier is that their new game, whatever that high school game or whatever it's called, Cosmonious High, didn't crack the top 10, but their old game, their first game, people are still buying it brand new enough to put it at number 6, and that's not counting the upgrades, the free upgrades that people are getting. What is it about that game that gives it such insane legs? I don't know.
I think something is wrong. There's no way. Every year we do this, Drop Simulator is in it. There's just no way. There aren't even enough VR players to make this feasible, I feel like. And if I really cared, I would do the math and prove it, but I don't care. Yeah, I'm shocked Kayak VR is third. Like, what are we doing? How? It was a launch title, or at least very close to launch. So maybe that had something to do with it. Like, you got to play something and it looked really good, so let's buy it. Maybe. Makes me really sad that that many people bought Switchback and they got bent over.
Yeah.
It is what it is, I guess.
I'm looking at now. We have the Japanese one here too. Kayak topped the list in Japan. That's interesting in and of itself. Discronia is putting out a good performance at number 5 here. Here's the big surprise for me: Firewall Ultra didn't even register in the EU or in America, but it is number 8 on the list in Japan. And Japan's a country that's notoriously like not really that into shooters, but somehow that cracked the top 10 in Japan. I
I don't
don't get
know
it.
how Crossfire Sierra Squad isn't in the top 10.
It came out a little bit later, right? Like this is looking at a lot of these games enjoyed the fact that they came out at or around launch, right? So they had a lot more time
Well,
to
I
sell
feel like
units.
if you have a PSVR2, there are some games that, like, regardless of when it comes out, like Resident Evil.
Yeah,
If they had the numbers, let's be honest, that would be number one. And that came out really late in the year, and it doesn't matter. You got to have that game, right? I feel
yeah.
like I really thought Crossfire was that, but I don't even care. I like it. I'm happy with it. Alex, moving on, Survivor Man VR comes out February 15th. Now, this is Les Stroud, if I think is how I say his
Yeah,
name.
Survivor Man, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. Essentially, in the game, you are in a crash, and then he helps you survive the harsh winter and the mountains, the environments, things of that nature. So he's guiding you, and you're surviving in VR. This moved the needle for you at all?
Not at all. It looked like a quest. I mean, all these things that you're doing in this game are things that I was doing in how did I forget the game? The survival game, Song in the Smoke.
Yeah.
And that just seemed more fun. Is built for PSVR 2. It seemed that's way more fun to me than this. Hey, maybe it's great. Maybe it's fun. These licensed IPs always feel like phoned in cash grabs, so it doesn't move the needle at all.
Yeah, I definitely I feel the same. It just is what it is. The next discussion, I think I'm going to save for after the segment break because I wanted to have a little time to talk about it, and then we are going to just reorder according to Matthew Packard, and because of Matthew Packard, he wanted us to reorder Alex our list of PSVR2 games top to bottom as if you never played PSVR. A lot of our ratings are, thumpers way down there because we're like, what's an ad, right? I think that's going to be interesting. We're going to go off the cuff, talk about that. Any other things you want to highlight, new topics you want to bring with the time remaining, or do you want to rehash something that maybe we had to fly by here in the past 20 minutes?
Do you think Les Stroud, like his wife being a person who loves a man named Les, would technically be a lesbian?
Wait, what?
Just Adam in the segment.
Oh,
Get me out of here. Get me out of here.
I see what you did. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That is offensive. Do you think Toy Trains is watching? I forgot to contact them, actually. Dang it.
Oh, yeah. I think. Oh, I found out the Toy Trains developers are former Superhot devs, which gives hope for the games. But it didn't get the
Big
best reviews. But some people are liking it.
yeah, I saw someone say it was pretty good. Like a good break. It's pretty static, but a good break from the action of I just don't understand why people like Vertigo 2, dude. I don't get it.
I've played it a
Um,
bit. I can see why you wouldn't like it. I can also see why people really like it, but I haven't played it enough to give judgment.
Okay, so here's the thing. You've got Ultra Wings 2, you've got Vertigo 2. I know you have a bunch a handful of other freaking games that you have. Still haven't
Dazzlers.
played Resident Evil 4. What's next? When are you going to play Resident Evil?
I told you I need a real dearth of games to play. I also need a lot of time to play some games. Like Resident Evil is a game I got to like start scheduling my life out to play, just like I did with 8, and that worked
How?
well for me.
Why? You already played it. You know what to do.
Now I haven't played the remake, and it's different enough.
It's not different enough. Like it is
Says
to
the
it
says the man who never played the
in
first
terms
one.
of enjoying it, but you're gonna know, like, oh, like I even told you I had like parts of the game where I struggled, and you're like, oh yeah, you just have to like keep
But see,
running around until they don't kill you. Stuff that like it
here's
took
the
me.
thing: they hide stuff in the game to surprise people who think they know what they're doing. They did that in that first level. You like back in the original game, you could climb up a tower, they couldn't get to you, and you could pick them all off. I tried that in the new one here, and the tower collapsed, and I landed on top of a chainsaw dude. It was awful. That kind of stuff is going to get me if I try to hold on to my old knowledge.
Dude, how do you start the game and not? I don't understand you. But okay, so what are you playing next? Yeah, I got plenty of effing options.
Probably Ultra Wings too. I really want. I've been waiting for that for a long time.
I mean, that's fine. I don't understand how there is the best game, borderline unequivocally the best game in VR available to you that you already have, and you just won't play it.
Adam, here's the deal. You might have better time management than me, but I very rarely have a situation where I'll be able to consistently play a game, day to day to day to day, so I can keep that momentum going. Resident Evil 4 is a game I want to do that, one, because it's a pretty long game, and two, because it's a high quality game, and I don't want to get myself in the middle of it and then drop it. Because if I get like 75% of the way through and then something happens and I can't play games for like 2 weeks, I'm not going to want to go back in because I'm going to feel like I lost the plot. I forgot what I'm doing. I'm not in tune with the game anymore. So I got to be able to keep the momentum going, which means I got to make sure I have, nothing coming up to prevent me from really enjoying diving through this game. It's
Can
probably
any
going
of
to be
the
my lunch
fans who
break
are
game.
listening comment below and just or send us an email and tell him how asinine that sounds? Here's the thing: two things. One, at what stretch are you going to get like 3 weeks where you don't have kids, you don't have work, you don't have responsibilities? It's never going to happen. I learned at a young age, Alex, if you want something, something will make you happy, you can't wait for the perfect time because it'll pass you by and then you're going to have regrets. Two, a good game, once you start, even though you don't want to stay up, even though you have other things to do, you find time for the games that are good. And this is a game that is good that you were going to fight to play. So that's all I got to say.
Resident Evil 4 is not going anywhere. That's my argument to that. I'll I'll,
We're
I'll
going
play
to
it.
segment two because this guy's a chode. Alex, welcome back to Play PSVR2, the podcast. And as I was reading the newspaper, what I've noticed, there are a lot of negative press articles on PSVR2. And I want to highlight a few of them. I can go to all of them, but you tend to be the eternal optimist. So that's why I like bringing these negative things to you. That way, when the people worry, you are always there. Or maybe it actually is concerning. I don't know. So, first thing, from November 16th to January 16th, they ran some numbers and they found that Meta has sold at least 320,000 units of their headset compared to PlayStation's only 10,500 PSVR 2s. That obviously right there in Christmas, where you're going to spend a lot of money for a gift, and yet people are choosing to go with Quest, right, rather than PSVR 2. Do you care at all?
I don't care. Here's why. I just looked up the article you're referencing. This is an article from Road to VR. They put this out. Here's one big confounding factor. Where is the number one place to buy PSVR 2? That is from the PlayStation VR2 or the PlayStation website, right? That's their store. That's where they sold it for most of the year. This is looking
Is
only at
it
Amazon.
who goes? I I mean, I think I did when I bought one because of the pre-order, but I like if I were to buy a Quest, I would never go to Meta's website. I would go to Best Buy. I feel like most people would go to a physical store to buy it, right?
I Most of the sales initially were from the store. Now, okay, we're looking at November to January. This is the holiday season. They're only looking at the PSVR2 set. Now, the other thing to note is that they're comparing Quest 2 and Quest 3 sales. So effectively two different headsets. So you're getting people who already own a Quest 2 buying a Quest 3. You're getting people who are buying a Quest 3 for the first time. You're getting people who are buying a Quest 2, maybe even used Quest 2s. And it's also a much cheaper product. Now, I will admit the ratio of 30 to 1 is a bit dismaying, but I don't think it's the doom and gloom story that a lot of people are saying, especially because we're seeing numbers of Resident Evil 4 being sold. The Resident Evil 4 is going back up into the top sales rankings of PlayStation 5 in general when the VR version comes out, which means it does certainly move units to have games on that console, games on the headset. The other thing is that the PlayStation VR2 requires a PlayStation 5, so you're inherently limiting yourself there. PlayStation 5 outsold the Switch in some places already, which is unheard of. It's one of the best-selling consoles of all time, so the install base is growing. And then you're going to see those PSVR2 adopters come on board later on down the road. But the other thing about the Quest is that Quest is being sold at a loss for Meta. They cheapen the headset. You buy the headset, and then you're supposed to make money through software attachment, right? They make more money when people buy games. That's how a lot of these things work. I don't think the PSVR 2 is being sold at a loss, and I think the software attachment rate is probably better on the PSVR 2 than what you're seeing on the Quest, because everybody I know that has a Quest personally that's not me, they play Gorilla Tag. They play whatever free things are available on there, and that's about it. They're not doing anything else. I bought my nephew Resident Evil 4. He won't play it. I bought him. He won't play Creed. He plays the Creed demo that's free. So what you're seeing is that the headset, the game attachment rate isn't there, and we're starting to see that in the games that people are developing, where people aren't making the games for the Quest the way that they used to. They're launching games out for the Quest because it's just not the traction isn't there like they thought it would be. I mean, the VR space is really small in general. I read a report earlier today about how, it's like 1% or 2% of the entire gaming market in general. So it's already a small market. But if this is something that is profitable for Sony to continue doing, I don't think the opportunity cost is there for Sony to decide to get out of the market. I always take these numbers with a grain of salt too. There was another one that came out a while ago that said, PlayStation only sold like 6,000 units or something like that. And it was unsourced. It was just a guy going off of what some factory said that they were selling. And Sony famously doesn't really publish these numbers. So I look more to, are the games actually selling? Because that's what I care about. Is I want the games to sell so that begets more games being made. And I don't think that's really much of an issue right now. Resident Evil 4 is doing just fine. They've made their money back on their investment there. So that's just a stream of revenue and money that's already occurring in an industry that is, famously hemorrhaging money now, hemorrhaging jobs. But it makes sense for Sony to keep themselves in this ecosystem. They've already shown off a new headset they're going to be releasing. So Sony obviously has reasons to put money behind, the VR ecosystem. I don't know. Granted, I'm the guy who loved Stadia and that died within a year. So maybe take what I say with a grain of salt.
Yeah, you like everything. My concerns are the fact that most of the games that I see are also on Quest, or they started on Quest and now they're bringing them to the PSVR 2. So little games start with PSVR 2 and are either exclusive or start there, which in my mind means, okay, I'm a developer, I have this game. Well, the first thing I want to do is put it on Quest because there's more people. They're doing that for a reason. Now, I admit some of it maybe it's easier to develop for the Quest, right? Maybe, but I don't like PSVR 2 playing kind of second fiddle, and I feel like it's always playing second fiddle. The other thing, I meant to look this up before we started. Are there more console gamers or PC gamers, do you think?
I mean, PC gamers kind of run the gamut because, like, if a grandma plays solitaire, is she a PC gamer?
I'm thinking more of like serious gamer.
I mean, you can look at something like Elden Ring. Elden Ring came out. It came out on all platforms. What were the sales attachment rates for PC versus the sales attachment rates for like PlayStation 5? I was able to get the numbers here. I think I can't get
Why
the
do you
numbers.
look
Okay.
that up even? Because I that's not even on the script. I'm going.
No, my point is that's going to give me an indication of if there's more PC gamers versus PS5 gamers. That's the
I
kind of
mean,
idea we're
I
going
think
for.
part of that though, yeah, it's tough. What I kind of wanted to see, because with Elden Ring, it wasn't on the PS5 for a
It was.
while.
No, it came out. They all came out at the same time.
I swear, I felt like I was like, maybe I'll play this, but then I couldn't. And by the time I had to wait for it to be on PlayStation, I found out I wouldn't like it because it was,
You
and
must be
maybe I
thinking
was
of a
wrong.
different game. Yeah.
Okay, anyhow, what I was wondering is like, I would argue PC gamers are more serious, right? At least in
Yeah.
my mind. I don't know many of them, but the ones I do, they are they're serious about their game. They game all the time. They invest tons of money to have this running accurately and quickly, and they're what you consider like, South Park, like really into games. And console gamers, I know a lot more console gamers, but none of them are really like that. Like I play, I think, a decent amount of video games, but I'm nothing like the PC gamers that I know, or even secondhand that I know. So I'm wondering if like the same analogy is to PSVR2, where if you're like really into VR, of course you're gonna have PC VR2, right? That may be even a more
You might
better
have PC VR. Yeah.
might, but you're you could have a quest and I think not really care about gaming that much. Like you said, you're playing Roblox, you're playing Minecraft, you're playing Rec Room, right? Not Resident Evil, not Gran Turismo, not Sea Smash, not, some of these other games that are a bit more like they're in my like game's a game, right? I don't want to diminish any game, but they're more of like a game, right? Like
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4 is a game. Rec Room, it's a game, but like in
It's
a
like an
way,
app. It's like a virtual reality app.
yeah, almost. Yeah, I don't want to like because every game, some of the smallest, stupidest games. I don't think Vertigo Home was a game. That was shovelware at best, but it was fun, and then technically was a game. So I mean, there were other. I mean, there's so many other articles about PSVR2's lacking behind. Sony isn't putting, even talking about it, not communicating it, not marketing it. Not a single game on PlayStation Plus has there been a PSVR2 game. They've even come out and said, yeah, it's important that we have a headset, but that's not our main proposition. PS5 is our main goal, and so there's so much negative bad press. And you've kind of already mentioned it. I mean, are you really worried at all about? I mean, what's the worst that could happen? They at some point openly come out and say, we're not going to support it. There aren't going to be any more updates. And then it just no one develops stuff for it anymore. Like, I
So
don't,
that sorry to cut you off. Do you have more to that?
no, that's it.
Okay. So the two things here. Your last question, what's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is that there's no PS3 or PSVR 3, right? I like what Sony does, tying a headset to a premium console where you have the opportunity to play premium content like Resident Evil 4 VR. I don't need every game to be Resident Evil 4 VR. I don't need every game to be Gran Turismo 7. I want a lot of games that are like Synapse. And I don't see a lot of things that are like Synapse out there on the Quest ecosystem. Granted, I don't explore the Quest ecosystem that much. There's a lot of fun games in the Quest ecosystem, but I just don't see it. I like these high level next or current generation or next generation games. And Sony's done awesome stuff with like the head haptics. I love the head haptics. I love the Sense controllers. They're a game company first, who's putting out a VR headset as opposed to Apple and Meta, who are their social media companies. They're these, productivity companies who are putting out headsets. So to me, that's what I really like. I want to see Sony here for that reason because I like virtual reality gaming. I don't like virtual reality anything else. So the worst that can happen is they get out of the market. Now, the thing that gives me hope and confidence is the very thing that worries you, that we're seeing games coming out on the Quest and they're porting it over to the PSVR2 to get an extra slice of that pie, get it to double dip on the product that they created to get more money. Because if a game is good on the Quest, of course I want to see that on the PSVR2. I want to be able to play it on PSVR2, even if it doesn't have all the bells and whistles that PSVR2 have. But granted, a lot of these things do include some facsimile of these features. You see a little bit of head haptics or something like that. I think, um, you know, Crossfire, Sierra Squad is out on PCVR, but it's going well on PSVR2, and we get the nice bells and whistles for that. I I think we saw this with the tail end of PSVR1, where Sony all but pretty much abandoned PSVR1 towards the end. Granted, they must have made their return on investment because they decided to make PSVR2, but we continued to see games that were fun and worth playing on the PSVR, like Song in the Smoke, like Arashi, which I really enjoyed and people seemed to enjoy back then. We still saw games getting released on PSVR1, even though Sony kind of was like done with it. And so even if Sony tomorrow said, we're not really going to make any PSVR2 games, granted, they'd never say that, but even if they said that tomorrow, it's out. The cat's out of the bag. We got, how many more years? 2, 3 more years of PlayStation 5. People are still going to be making games for this headset. They might be focused on Quest. It might be Quest derivatives. There might be upgraded versions or ports of PC VR games, but that's still out there. So I'm not terribly worried about PSVR 2. I'm a little bit more worried if these sales numbers are true and Sony's really not liking how PSVR 2 is going. I am worried about the future of Sony in the VR space for their premium console. But I don't know. PSVR 3 could come out and be a total banger, and people just won't buy it because the kids want to play Quest and play Gorilla Tag. And really, the whole VR ecosystem has an ailment that nobody's really seen a way through, right? It is such a small market, and we're seeing diminishing returns on investment. And I think it is down to this more grassroots thing where, Capcom is lucky to get their money back on Resident Evil 4 VR ports. But a lot of developers can't invest the heavy amount of capital to get a AAA game produced all by themselves for the PSVR 2 headset, because even if it was selling as good as the Quest, the market's just not there for it without heavy subsidies from Sony or from Meta or from somebody like that. I mean, look at Valve. They released a whole headset and they released the next Half-Life game in VR, and now they've effectively left the VR marketplace. We're not seeing a Valve Index 2. We're not seeing a Half-Life Alyx 2. We're not seeing anything else from Valve for VR. So I don't think the issue is necessarily PSVR 2. I think the issue is VR, and developers need to figure out what it is that's going to make people play VR. We thought it was going to be racing, but apparently Gran Turismo 7 is not moving units if we believe these numbers to be true, even though that's a continually updating game. So I don't know. I'm very pleased with PSVR 2. They could make no more games for it now, and I'd still have a good year or two's worth of gaming to get done on that headset. So yeah, as a rant there, but I'm happy with how it's going. I understand why people may not be happy. I think people might need to broaden their horizons a bit. Maybe look for something other than Call of Duty, look for something other than Gorilla Tag on their VR headset, and really enjoy some of the experimental, weird, and interesting things that are out there in the VR ecosystem, because it is a burgeoning market, and we're getting that burgeoning, experimental gameplay. That's what I enjoy about it. I'm happy it's in the state it's in.
Yeah, I really wish there were more PSVR exclusive games,
Yeah.
Um, I still can't tell you why there's no Astrobot. But the other thing, this week there was a user on Reddit called Feisty Cow 6995. I love that. Feisty Cows. And they mentioned, hey, if I didn't scroll through Reddit, if I didn't read these reports, would I think there's anything wrong? Would I care? Would I worry? And I would think for myself, for Feisty Cow, and probably for a lot of other people, no, you wouldn't think there's anything wrong. But because there's these doomsday reports and we read these things, and on Reddit, there's a should I get a Quest or PSVR 2? And then there's a whole bunch of Quest people saying, oh, it's wireless and it's cheaper and it's blah, blah, blah. If you didn't know any of that stuff, if you stayed away from it, in my opinion, I think a lot of people would be like you and they would be like, yeah, I'm happy with it. We got two Resident Evils. We got Gran Turismo 7. There's some little holes. We need more horror games that aren't Resident Evil. We need an Astrobot. There are some holes to be filled. And I feel like that's honestly what we should. It's hard to focus on that, but I think that's what we need to focus on, right? I mean, if
I
you're
think
having a good time with it, who cares, right? Like, good for Quest, good for the kids playing Gorilla Tag, but it's not me. I don't want to play those games. I don't want to play with children. I want to play quote unquote real games. I am, and I'm having a good time with it. That's all that should matter, and Sony can worry about it.
I think I mean, speaking to your point, the holes in the library and what can we do to plug those holes? I think what we really need is like Hollow Ball to come out. So,
The ball gets in the hole. I'm unable to get.
so no, but honestly, I agree. We do need more exclusives, and Sony, they really don't seem to want to talk about PSVR 2 for one way or the other. I mean, they didn't talk about it much before it came out. They didn't talk about it much after it came out. But they do continually drip feed, solid bangers for us. Like Resident Evil 4 was a total surprise and it came out like the week after they, really announced it, right? I don't know if this is a marketing strategy here. I know it's probably just more cost effective for them to put the same amount of money in like TV ads to get somebody to buy a PlayStation 5 unit and they're going to get more return on investment there than to get a PSVR 2. But what we might see is that because the PS5 has sold so well, they might start seeing a saturation of the market and they need to pivot what they're doing to try to get more PSVR 2 sales going up. That could be something happening at play. They could do a renovation of it. We got a second generation PSVR 1 headset, a couple years down the road. Maybe they do release a wireless version that works with the PS5 Pro. Something along those lines. You put Wi-Fi 6 in the PS5 Pro and then have the PSVR 2 communicate along Wi-Fi 6. We might have that problem solved coming down the pike, and it still plays the PSVR 2 games. But the big thing is Astrobot, right? People are wanting an Astrobot. And I think Astrobot, when it came out, it was still a question mark before they released it. They didn't know it was going to be the success that it was, the beloved game that it was. My hope is that the reason Astrobot hasn't been released is because they're working on something much bigger than what Astrobot was for Astrobot Rescue Mission. We all want an Astrobot 2. I'm thinking for, Mario 1, Mario 2, Mario 3, then there was Mario World, which was a huge, huge expansion on that game design. I want an Astro's Galaxy, something like that, something big and expansive for the Astrobot game. But I don't know. To be honest, though, I don't know what I want. What I really want is I want more third-party developers to see the success that Capcom had with Resident Evil 4 and kind of go towards that a little bit. See some of these games that have been released and maybe they're, diminishing returns and they can focus on trying to build a new IP, or they can try to plug this VR in because Unreal plugs in really easily. Now Unity has this better way of porting and maintaining your graphical fidelity. I want to see some of those things get co-opted. And Sony did say they were hoping to get more hybrid games out of here. I guess the money's just not there. So it's rough. It's a rough market. The market's, the developers are having layoffs left and right. It's tough to be a game maker these days. Maybe you just focus on a smaller pond to be a bigger fish in that smaller pond, and that's going to get you the money you're looking for.
Make good games. Alex, we've talked about this too long. We need to rank our games as though you have not played VR. So, first experience, you are playing all these games in PSVR 2. My recommendation is we start from the bottom of the list and then go up. That way, I feel like that would be better than starting with like the bangers and then going downward. This starting from the bottom, I feel like gives everyone an equal shot. First, and you're going to write these down for us, I think. First one is Switchback VR. I still believe that isn't the worst game, but you're the one who reviewed it, you're the one who played it, you're the one who put it on. But for right now, Switchback VR for our new list. For those of you who have never played VR, Switchback VR is number one so far. So how's that feel, Alex?
I know it's impossible, but if you had never played PSVR before, That means you never played Rush of Blood before. That would put Switchback VR even lower, in my opinion, because you don't even have the rose tinted glasses to make you, kind of feel like what you had back then, right? It's like watching a bad sequel to a movie that you loved. You still kind of want to watch that bad sequel, even though it's bad because you love the first movie so much. That's what gets Switchback some of the momentum. I I despise Switchback VR. Even with the enhancements, I just can't bring myself to want to touch it ever again. I think it stays where it is, man.
Well, I mean, right now it's number one. So number two, we've got Cactus Cowboy. I, I'm sorry. I haven't played Switchback, but Cactus Cowboy is so bad. I dislike it so much. I feel like Switchback is better, but let's be honest, both these are going to end up being at the bottom of the list. So I don't think we should spend too much time on it. I'll let you pick whichever you think is better.
I'd say we keep them exactly where they are because what's happening is your experience with PSVR changes nothing on this front. So yeah, they stay the same. And Adam, I'm just going to go ahead and say Travel the Words, Epic Roller Coaster, and Zenith of the Lost City all kind of stay where they are. Nothing changes when we look retrospectively at those games.
Well. For the most part, Zenith, I think I would move up the list, actually, a little bit, not a ton. Next is Cosmo Dread. So you're writing those down. So right now we've got Epic Roller Coaster as
Well, right
our
now we have us do this. We got Zenith at the top, okay?
yeah.
Zenith at the top. Now the next one after Zenith is Cosmo Dread. Do you put Cosmo Dread below Zenith now?
I think I actually do. I think Zenith actually utilizes room scale and the VR. I think that's going to wow a new user more. Cosmo Dread is a little annoying to play. You don't know what you're doing. It's dark. Yeah, I think Zenith actually is better. Same thing for Bad Dreams VR. I think Bad Dreams VR is worse than Zenith. It's
All right.
for a first time player, right?
Yeah,
Bad
yeah.
Dreams VR just isn't. I mean, it's just not good. I don't know what to tell you. It's not scary. It's not immersive. It doesn't really use any of the VR aspects well. Doesn't use room scale. So yeah, I think keeping Zenith.
All right. Then the next one is how does Zenith stack up against Thumper?
Thumper easily,
So
right? Right?
yeah, easily. So here's how I think we're going to do this now. We find Thumper. That's obviously one that we think it's going to move up the list, right? So everything we're comparing against Thumper and then placing below Thumper. So next on the list is Dyschronia. How do I compare Dyschronia to Thumper? Thumper obviously above Dyschronia. We love Thumper. It was just because it was a PSVR1 game. But then we have to think Dyschronia versus Zenith. Which one are you gonna
I
do?
still think Zenith. I mean, Dyschronia is you might as well just sit there and watch a TV show, right?
Not necessarily. I personally, I felt more compelled to play Dyschronia than I was compelled to play Zenith again.
Oh,
I,
okay.
it's a tough call. I
I
feel like you
think
got
these
some
are
love for
still going to
Zenith.
end up being at the bottom, so I'm not going to fight hard for Zenith.
I'll
If you
put
think
I'll put
Dyschronia is
Dyschronia
better,
below Zenith because Zenith is actually more of a game. I'll give it that. I enjoyed Dyschronia, but I think we'll be moving all three of these up a little bit more too because the next one is Seeker My Shadow. How
no,
do you
no,
feel about Seeker My Shadow and Zenith?
dude, up yours. I think Seeker My Shadow is, yeah, it's not as good as Zenith. I mean, yeah,
I'm
put it below as Dyschronia. I think that's fair.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, Seeker My Shadow works, but Dyschronia is like I said, that's kind of some of the weird stuff that I'm
You
looking for
couldn't
in it.
even finish it. So, I mean,
That's the second one. We're ranking just based
oh,
off the
okay.
first one.
Okay.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
apologies. My apologies. Okay. Moss book one. Woof. Oh, woof. I enjoyed Thumper more than Moss easily, right? But I could see you making a compelling argument why Moss is better than Thumper. And would you do that?
I think for the average gamer, Moss is better than Thumper. I think for me, my taste, Thumper is better, and I think you agree. So, and this is our list, although we're considering how others might be, not having played PSVR1. I think Moss is going to get benefits here as we move up the list. But right now, Moss is sitting below Thumper, and Moss is definitely above Zenith, in my opinion.
Yeah. And same thing, Cave Digger 2, that needs to be way down the list. That needs to be, I mean, not way down. I'm thinking Cave Digger 2 or Seeker My Shadow. Secret My Shadow had like an added element, but it was shorter and it was a little buggy. Yeah, put Cave Digger 2 above Secret My Shadow.
Oh, really? Okay, I was gonna say maybe below. Like something about Cave Digger 2 didn't even resonate with me like Cave Digger 1 did. But oh, okay. Cave Digger 2 above Secret My Shadow. You played them both, you know.
Yep. I don't know anything about Awesome Asteroids. Looks like crap, but
We're gonna put this. Shoot, I think it goes above Cave Digger 2. It's way more fun than Cave Digger 2. It's a better game in my opinion than Secret My Shadow in terms of like what I would sit me down with both of them. Which one do I want to play? At Awesome Asteroids. I didn't like it as much as Discronia, so I think Awesome Asteroids is above Cave Digger 2.
okay. Fair enough. Next we have a freaking knock. Wow. The thing with knock is like it's really fast. And I could see someone playing VR for the first time and being like taken back, like, wow, look at this. But it's just so not fun and so difficult to play. I I'm tempted to put it below Awesome Asteroids. I think I'm gonna do that. I
All
still
right.
think it's better than Cave Digger 2. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think I can understand that. Yeah. Now we're talking about Gaslers. All right. I think looking at our list now, um, because I think Gaslers goes below Discronia. I think I like it more than Awesome Asteroids. I like it more than everything else below Awesome Asteroids.
Okay. Tentacular, that's you too. Which where are you gonna put that bad boy?
I want to put that above Zenith. That's going to be our new number 3 for now. Um, so Thumper, Moss, then Tentacular. Tentacular's it has stood the test of time with me. I think its great detriment was that it came out at launch when we were looking at Gran Turismo 7 and Resident Evil 8 and all these other games, and then there's Tentacular. But
Yeah.
Tentacular, yeah, it's not that bad. Yeah.
All right. Transformers Beyond Reality.
I did enjoy it, but it's to me it's simpler than Gaslers. Shoot, let's put it. It's going to go below Gaslers. Yeah,
Wow, that's actually a surprise to me. You
that's a
really
total.
enjoyed it when you played it.
That's a total flip of the script there. But yeah, I think Gaslers is going to be a more fun time than man. They're both pretty fun, but they're like the same thing. And shoot, no. Audible Transformers above Gaslers. I forgot the fact that like you're watching the Transformers run around. That's way more fun than what Gaslers is doing to me.
Freaking Tetris Effect. F me raw. I'm gonna put that. Oh, I mean, it's the same game, right? I mean, it's just freaking Tetris. I'm
It's the
gonna
same
put
game but prettier. Yeah.
I'm gonna put that pretty low in the list. I'm gonna put that
Come on, man. We got to move fast.
below Cosmodread.
Shoot, for real? No,
Yeah.
now we've both played this. We got to average this out because I would put it above Transformers Beyond Reality.
What?
Yeah,
No
yeah.
way. It's
I would
just
probably
Tetris.
I would put it above Zenith. I like it way more than those games.
What? You don't even play it. I'm the one who
I
plays it.
played it, but I did play it when it came out, and this is we're talking about that.
You
So
are a fool. You're gonna pay 30 extra dollars. F
it's
off.
not extra dollars. You're just paying for the first time to play now. So Adam, here's what we're gonna do. I put it at number. I'm putting it at 4. You're putting it somewhere down there, like number 10, above what? You put it above Cave Digger 2,
Above Cosmodread.
above Cosmo Dread. Okay,
Yeah.
it's going above Knock. How about that? To average out our
Fine. That's
tastes.
fine. Just because that's bull crap. Kayak VR Mirage. It's a pretty game. There's just not much to do, man. Right? But yeah, it goes above Zenith. I think
Okay.
yeah, that's a new number 4 right there.
All right.
Drums Rock.
Drums Rock. I'm gonna put that above. I'll put that above Discronia. No, I'll put it above Zenith. I'll put it above Zenith. That's way more fun than Zenith was.
Okay. How about budget cuts?
See, this is a rough one because have you never played before? I think that I reviewed it as if somebody had never played before. Man, Budget Cuts is good. It's just outdated a bit. I'm gonna put that below Discronia here.
Okay, I think that's fair. Next one is puzzling places. And I like this, but you're probably going to want action, right? So because of that, it works well. I'm I'm going to put that below Transformers.
Below Transformers. All right. So
Yeah.
puzzling places. I can see the appeal. I can't make myself do it.
for sure.
Afterlife VR, Adam. How you feeling about that
That
game?
one's our new number one.
For real, better than Thumper?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's got the horror element to it. It's
You've
got a
never
lot going.
played you've never played VR before. You're putting that above Thumper?
I am, yeah.
I wish I had played it
You
so
have
I
a
could
visceral response playing Afterlife VR. You kind of do with Thumper too, I admit, but trust me, Afterlife VR is better.
shoot. That's okay. Before Your Eyes, I put Before Your Eyes above Dyschronia. I put it above Zenith.
Oh wow, I would put it above Tentacular.
Okay, I was expecting some more pushback. I put it above Kayak as well. I don't know if I put it above. Well, we'll do under Tentacular just to average it out.
Okay, I think that's fair.
Wow, that you rated it higher than me. Okay,
Yeah, baby. Pixel Rip 1978.
man, let's put that. I mean, it's a good game. It's short. We're gonna put that above Zenith and After Drums Rock.
All right. Now we've got Arashi, which, gosh, you're probably going to put pretty high, huh?
I'll put it after Drums Rock. I mean, I'm here for the experience. It's going under Drums Rock too. That's just
Oh,
becoming my
wow.
dumping ground. Yeah, that's our
This is
gatekeep.
like a decent shakeup, I feel like, in our list.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. But
Ooh,
it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Um, let's see. Where are
Garden of the
we at?
Sea.
Oh, yeah.
Garden of the Sea number 20. I like that more than Tentacular. That's going above Tentacular.
Gosh, Demio is rough. I
Uh,
hate that game. But I admit that it's a personal thing. So I,
this is our personal list, Adam.
I
Uh,
if
I
you've never
really,
played VR again, I feel like you're gonna think it's freaking boring, right? Like it's kind of cool initially. I'm thinking maybe above Tentacular.
yeah, yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, I like Demio, but it is a huge time investment. But I think there's some things about it. If you've never played VR before, Demio is kind of surprising to have like, oh, it feels like it's right in front of me type stuff going on. Now here's
Okay,
the next one, Adam.
here
Yeah,
we go.
where are you putting Runner?
Oh, Runner is good. It is good. It's definitely I would put I'm this is gonna be a shock. I'm speaking out of my heart and we're having to move fast. I'm putting it below Thumper.
Below Thumper. Okay.
Yeah.
Runner's our number 3.
Yep.
All
Uh,
right. Quickly, Moss Book 2, that's going to go above Moss Book 1. Let's just make it easy there. Okay.
yep. Red Matter
Um,
2.
man. Shoot. Red Matter 2, that's going to go above Garden of the Sea. So that's our new number 5.
All right. Then we've got some hubris, and that is oof below Red Matter 2.
Red Matter 2. The new
Yep.
gatekeeper, Red Matter 2. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
baby.
Fair enough.
Two
All right.
tennis on court. Let's go. I like this.
I can't
Oh,
argue with you on it. Yeah, I have some of these in here too now, like
I'm
that.
gonna
So
put
yeah.
it above Moss Book 1.
Okay. All right.
I'll give it Moss Book 2. I'll split the difference there, but that's where I'm at.
Let's
Vertigo 2. Wowzers. Um,
it's got to go above Hubris, right? Like better than
yeah,
Hubris at least.
yeah. It definitely above Hubris, but
I think it's better than Red Matter 2 as well.
if I've never played VR, I would rather play Moss than Vertigo 2.
Oh,
I'll be
really?
honest. Yeah.
Okay, let's put it above Moss Book 1 then. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that.
I
All
said the
right.
opposite, but okay, whatever. Arizona Sunshine 2.
Oh no, you're right. You're right. Let's put Moss above Vertigo 2. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Arizona Sunshine 2, that's going above Moss Book 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we've got Humanity. I really like Humanity. I feel like I would do Humanity. Oh no, I can't go that high. Maybe below Tennis on Court.
Really? You're putting it that low? Okay. All right. All
Yeah,
right.
I mean it's limited. It's cool. You haven't played it yet,
As a
so
VR game, yeah, I think it has a lot of benefit because it's just a really good game. We got to move fast, Adam. Walkabout
we're
mini
probably
golf.
gonna have a small third segment because
Okay.
I don't want to rush
When you
it.
get to the top 10, we can after this walkabout mini golf. Let's do this. Let's cut it off now. Have a small third segment for the top 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna recalibrate. We'll come back. Very short third segment. I don't want to rush this, and we can do. I'm surprised. Our I don't want to say our list is like drastically different, but it's a couple games. There was a shakeup. You know, it's like Boggle. You really shook them up. You know.
Yeah, yeah. We'll have to do like a Reddit post or something to give this to the viewers.
Yes, I love it. Okay, we'll be right back for segment three. It's been a while since we've had a three segger. Alex just wants to eat, and I'm not going to let him go, baby. So, Alex, highlight the list for us. Just maybe the top seven.
Top seven here we got Afterlife VR, Thumper, Runner, Arizona Sunshine 2, Moss Book 2, Tennis on Court, Humanity, and then Moss Book 1. That's our top seven right there. I
So I
think
am
that's
a little overall. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm a little concerned. Arizona Sunshine 2 is that far below, but I didn't play it. You did. I thought you really enjoyed it, so I was surprised you put it underneath Runner. But
I'm approaching this as somebody who never played PSVR before. These games in a bit of a new light. Thumper is a great game in my opinion. I maybe Runner. I don't know. I really like Runner. It stands that test of like it's an experimental, weird, cool game. Arizona Sunshine 2 is just a very like it's a super solid 8 out of 10.
I need to play tennis on court again. I mean, I played it maybe 3 weeks ago, but I need to go back. Like, it, yeah. I mean, it's good. I think it belongs where it's where it belongs. But okay, well, let's keep chugging on. What is our next? It's Walkabout Mini Golf. I feel like I feel like it's got to be number one, right?
Yeah, I'm starting to think now. This top 10 is probably not going to change too much as we move forward. Yeah, Walkabout Mini Golf is the new numero uno. What about Sea Smash?
I'm gonna throw you a curveball. I'm gonna do it. I think after have played it, the gosh, it's tough. The initial play value is very high, but they've added some stuff to it, but not enough to make it drastically different. It's difficult now to find games. If you're a brand new player, you're like, I can play freaking, paddleball or racquetball at the gym. I'm gonna drop it a little bit.
Where are you
I'm
putting it then?
I'm gonna put it below Thumper, actually.
Okay. All right. That's what I was expecting that, Adam. I was
Oh,
expecting something along
really?
those lines. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could see that get smashed that way. What about VR Skater? That's a game you don't talk about anymore.
Yeah, I don't, but it's very good. It's still a little too difficult, but I mean, I would rather play that than Walkabout. I think that should be our new number one.
All right. I'm happy to see that happen to VR Skater, to be honest. Synapse.
It's got to be number one.
Yeah, that's number one for me. Yeah, that's number one right now so far. But then we got Pavlov coming up. Pavlov is so good. I'll say this. I like Synapse more than Pavlov. A year from now, I want to play Synapse. I'm happier I bought Synapse than I bought Pavlov. But that's just because I'm not much of a multiplayer gamer unless I'm like playing with you every once in a while.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Synapse is so unique, and you have Crossfire Sierra Squad, which in my opinion is better to fill that first person shooter void. So if I'm a first time player and I've never played anything, Synapse, I feel like is, unless you are a Call of Duty first person shooter person, I feel like Synapse is going to resonate with you better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the question is, okay, Pavlov or yeah, Pavlov's better than VR Skater. Yeah, yeah.
Right. Song in the Smoke. I gotta put. Ooh.
Dude,
I
that
like
belongs, I'm sorry, it belongs farther down. It belongs below Walkabout. Let's be honest.
I could get a, I mean, I like it more than Pavlov, but I understand your thought too. So why don't we put it, okay, we'll put it down there. Yeah. Song in the Smoke below Walkabout. That okay. I'll agree, Adam. I'll
I mean,
agree.
yeah. I mean, I feel pretty strongly about it. I did not like the game. I thought it sucked.
What about, okay, now Crossfire. Basically, it's Crossfire or Synapse. Which one do you like more? I think Crossfire takes it for me, and I'm a Synapse absolute devotee.
Yeah, I think so too. The single player campaign helps you get more replay value, and it has multiplayer, and everything about it works well. I've never had, except for the last time we tried to play and the servers got
Yeah.
gunked up, I've never had an issue with it. It's fun as heck. Yeah, I think Crossfire.
And I don't think anything changes here. Like Gran Turismo 7, are you going to put that below Crossfire?
I think we'll put that above Song in the Smoke. No, I'm joking. Yes, Gran Turismo 7, I think, is still a very solid 3. And the thing is, like, I feel like it's not just above Crossfire. I feel like it's pretty significantly above, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
there's not it's not close.
yeah,
Same thing with Resident Evil 8 and 4. They're clearly the best two games.
yeah.
I if you've never I think it's the same thing. If you've never played the game before, ooh, actually, I think regardless of which, if you like action or you like horror, I think if you've never played before, Resident Evil 8 would be better because they don't cut the cutscenes are a
Yeah.
little jank, but it doesn't go to flat, so you never lose that immersion.
It's a
So
better VR game, probably. Yeah. I think holistically as a game, Resident Evil 4 might be better. If we're looking at people who haven't played VR, Resident Evil 8, they're both 10 out of 10 games, in my opinion. Top notch, incredible experiences. Adam, here's what I forgot we had never put Res on the list. And so let's put Res at the top.
that, yeah, it's got to be number one, right? No.
It's
Okay.
an outside. It's the champion. That's it. It's not number one. It's the champion.
Yes, that's it. Dude, I mean, this is, we're going to get just murdered because,
So I got to publish it so we can get reamed.
I mean, oh gosh.
Yeah. So recapping the
Go
top
what?
10.
Below Pavlov?
What, Res?
Yeah.
No, we're not ranking Res. I'm not doing that.
No, we need to rank it, dude. We haven't ranked it and it deserves to be ranked.
Oh, then I put it maybe below Gran Turismo 7.
Okay. You do
You don't
not
like
believe, I
no.
love Res. You do not believe it's better than Synapse.
The reason you lower Res is because you played it on PSVR1 and remember how life-changing Res was the first time you played it. You never played it before. It's on PSVR. It's on VR now.
I,
Area X for the first time. Even if you just played it once, those 10 minutes of your life are the best thing you've ever seen in VR compared to these other games.
okay, I'll
It is
put it
a,
below Synapse. Okay, I'll raise it one, but I can't.
to me, Res came out at the perfect time because it made people believers in VR. You play Area X, you're skeptical. You play Area
No,
X,
it made us believers. There are freaking psychopaths out there who don't like it, who don't
yeah.
think it's amazing. I don't know what your problem is, but there's a little thing called therapy, and it's okay to go to. A lot
And
of
if you
people
can't
do.
afford it, play Area X.
They keep playing it until you get your freaking senses back, and
That's what I'm going
you,
to play after this, man. I need Area X in my life again.
dude, have a Taco Bell in one hand, Area X in the other.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I
All
mean,
right. Well, our top 10, Adam. Our top 10: Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil 4, Gran Turismo 7, Crossfire Sierra Squad, Synapse getting the promotion, then Res, then Pavlov, VR Skater, Walkabout, and now down to number 10, Song in the Smoke. Adam, this is quite the shakeup, and I think I'm very happy with this list.
yeah, I'm actually I may like it better, honestly.
Yeah, yeah.
I still I don't love Song in the Smoke even being 10, I guess that's probably okay. Um, Based
I
on like the
think, yeah,
other games that are below it, I think it's probably appropriate. The only other game you could maybe put in there, you could argue Thumper. Um, if you really like horror, I really actually think Afterlife VR is good. Sea Smash, I mean, it's real fun in the beginning, but there's just not much staying power, and it does get old, right? Just playing the same thing in the levels over and over and over. So yeah, there we go. That's our list. That's our top 10. Alex, maybe at some point you can figure out, maybe post this bad boy on Reddit and
yeah.
people can see there. That way we can get reamed. In our next episode, we'll talk about fan shout outs from Reddit on how we're getting destroyed. But you, the listener, email us, post on YouTube. Let us know
What's your top 10?
how have we disappointed you today?
Yeah, yeah. And that's it. Okay. Thank you, Adam. I got to go get something to eat. So that is it for episode 142 of Play PSVR2, the podcast. Do you care? Do you really care? Because if you do, you should leave us a comment here on your tube. Show us how much you really care by rating and berating us on iTunes as well. Do you really get flustered by our list? Well, tell your auntie about it so she can tear into us in a couple of weeks on Valentine's Day. And then later, leave a review on iTunes so the world will know how much you really care about this. And after all that, you can let us know you did it all by hitting us up at contact@playpsvr.com so we can get the inside scoop on your levels of care. And with that, for my esteemed business colleague, Adam, I'm Alex. And this has been Play PSVR2, the podcast where virtual reality is our reality.
Blammo!